the co-founder of Stobox, and also the marketing manager at Stobox as well. Ross and Ilya, thank you for joining us in this Rio space, and let's kick it off. Perhaps you can give a
Absolutely.
short.
Thanks for
Uh,
having us today. And yeah, I hope that it will be a fruitful conversation because we got a lot of discuss regarding the partnership. I think we also can talk about the area, about the market. So yeah, passing the mic to Russ. So for a little introduction, I guess, from our co-founder and our big boss.
Yeah, thank you, Ivo. Thank you, Brandon, for inviting us. I think it is a great momentum and great opportunity to share more information about RWAs, about the narratives, about the future, about the problems, and keep our communities more educated and on the same page on what's going on with the industry.
yes, I
Yeah,
completely agree on that. To be honest, we are, hoping to have this very fruitful and free discussion. I guess the big question here, of course, for everybody who is joining in or listening to the recording, would be what exactly we're gonna be doing together. And I think it would be a great start to go with this one. Um, Once again, just to remind people, Rio's whole purpose is to actually bring this infrastructure to another level in terms of allowing RWAs, especially financial instruments, to be brought on chain. Having this said, our main pillars within the infrastructure is, of course, one of them is tokenization companies, and as you all know, Stobox is a leading one in this regard. So perhaps you can share just a bit more information regarding your current, basically, roadmap and overall what you have been doing over the years, guys.
Absolutely. So let me share like short introduction about the Stobox, so all of our community members will see the global picture. So look, guys, we've been 7 years in the industry. So Stobox is one of the first companies in the world under this domain, and as so far we have more than 110 clients worldwide in tokenization, and we tokenized over 500 millions in assets for our clients. And we as a Stobox, we are presented in the United States. We are licensed and regulated in Europe under the VASP, Virtual Asset Service Provider License, and MICA regulated. And we are presented in the UK and licensed and regulated in Qatar as our technology and business services under the Qatar Financial Center. And as so far, we built ecosystem of our products that includes the Stobox 4. It is all-in-one platform for RWAs, B2C, B2B, enterprise grade. So it is a SaaS technology, software as a service. It is all-in-one platform where you can store RWAs, where you can tokenize your business, and where you can invest in those companies that are already tokenized. And we introduced our methodology, so it is one of the first frameworks in the world how to tokenize the assets compliant. So we ensure everything from the compliance standpoint, technical standpoint, legal standpoint, operational standpoint, that you issuing the decent asset on the Stobox 4 platform. And we developed our own DAD solution, decentralized identity, where we bridge KYC, KYT, and so on. We developed our own oracles. We developed our own protocol, STV3, on which we deploy the assets. And as you may know, guys, that real finance is L1 blockchain. So through our partnership, we enable their cross-chain deployment of tokenized assets, and happy to contribute to their TVL of their real finance. And of course, we force their interoperability inside our ecosystem and shared liquidity strategies, including staking yields models and so on. and of course support for asset issuers seeking to access DeFi-based infrastructure. So we see our collaboration as a long-term to add value to each community, to each organization under one global topic is RWA. And I think it is a great timing for everyone.
Yeah, it's
Thank you
definitely
for
great.
yeah, thank you for this. Brandon, would you like to share a bit more in terms of our ecosystem growth and development and overall the plans and the roadmap of Rio as well?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The timing is phenomenal. If we look at the rate of acceleration of RWAs, it's unquestionable that, you know, platforms that enable this financial transformation that is kind of upon us. It's not really a feature set that's you know, it's not a feature. It's a necessity at this point. And I look at us as enabling kind of the next phases of banking transformation. So that's why I'm really excited about this partnership. I mean, you know, ultimately, we are going to be able to have that vertical integration and be able to provide that end-to-end solution for the companies that are looking to tokenize their assets with each other. Yeah, I'm thrilled to be working with you guys. And you know, in terms of the way that the way that Real kind of contributes to Stobox, I mean, what we're doing is we're providing a lot of that enterprise level scalability, whereas you guys are going to be helping bring the assets on chain. We're providing sort of that financial and institutional grade scalability, and you know, the liquidity, being able to, like you say, work together on the liquidity strategies to ensure that the assets themselves are liquid and tradable is a huge point of what we're working on together.
Furthermore, just to add on this, which Brandon just touched the topic on, you know, Rio is currently partnering with three banks which are regulated in different regions. The main goal of these partnerships is, once again, bringing institutional grade assets and assets which are under their management, but also involving their customer base into tokenization. And that's why we need, that's why we need a partner such as Stobox, so that, you know, these, let's say, clients can easily be onboarded and, you know, can easily tokenize part of their assets or all of their assets if they wish to. So, you know, having this partnership here is incremental to our future, you know, endeavors together and success in order to bring more Web2 based and well, more traditional financial instruments on chain and give access to those instruments to the average retail user. So, I guess we should also touch upon the current state of the RWA market. Actually, we just we have been focusing on current news for quite some time now. Just yesterday, a commissioner was explaining how blockchain is changing, you know, the future of the financial system, and you know, tokenization is again an integral part of you know, this future, let's say, step of innovation. And I would like to hear all of you guys, like, your opinion in terms of what's happening in the next 12 months, what's happening in the next 5 years. It would be great if you can share your thoughts here.
I've got just a quick one, and it's some statistics that I ran across the other day as I was doing some reading. And you know, I was taking a look. I was just curious on the overall market cap of RWAs right now. And it's estimated to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 billion at the moment. But if you look at Boston Consulting and Chainlink, they're estimating that the RWA space is going to grow into 8 to multi-8 trillion, 8 to multi-8 figures of trillions. So 10 to 20 trillion plus in the next cycle. So if you look at the growth opportunity there, it's just absolutely phenomenal. And we're barely scratching the surface. And I think the reason for that is because technology potentially hasn't been in the place that it's needed to be to enable that, especially not in the previous cycles. as well as adoption hasn't really been in the places that it's needed to be previously, right? And now finally we're getting to that place where, like I touched on a little bit earlier, it's not just sort of a feature set that financial institutions have. It's going to be an absolute necessity for them to be making these transitions and moving forward, because it's what the consumers want themselves, and it's what the institutions want in terms of the underlying technology, transparency. But the architecture hasn't really been there for them to do it at scale and grow to the point that they want with it, which is what we're really trying to enable. So, like I say, we're just scratching the surface here, and I think this is going to be the backbone or the core function of the next financial cycle that we're coming up to.
Perfect. Thank you, Ivo, for your great question. Because look, it is a big challenge now to determine what is their total market capitalization of RWA industry. In parallel, I am one of their contributor and the expert at the Cointelegraph. And just a few weeks ago, I issued an article touching this point. Because RWA.xyz or DeFi Llama, they tracking mainly the public securities, right? That's why their private capital industry and private capital companies that are tokenized, uh, um, let's say in the shadow, because no one know where they are and what is the amount of them. But based on my digits that I'm calculated, that now the industry, it is less than 1 trillion. So it is around from 600 millions to 800 millions, but definitely under 1 trillion. And as Brandon is perfectly right and correct, that according to their Boston Consulting Group, KPMG, PwC, in the next 5 years, the industry will reach 30 trillion. So it is in growth in 30 times. Now less than 1 trillion, in 5 years, more than 30 trillion. That's why I see that now the trend is just starting by being 7 years in the industry. For me, it's just the beginning, because RWAs is not the ICO, it's not the NFTs that can boom, right? Because of the regulation. But during all of these years, we see a constant growth. That's why we have the learning curve, and what I believe that it is just the beginning. And where we will see the next moments, it is of course their stable coins that now is the biggest part of RWA. It is their public company securities that is already tokenized, and private capital of private companies. Because as you may know, 99.9 all of the companies around the world are private. That's why if you bring to them the tokenization, if you give them this opportunity to have their shares tokenized, it means that their customers, the clients, can participate in the growth of that companies. And what I believe that the best investor, it is your client. That's why it's not more about bringing you as a company to Nasdaq. It is more than bringing Nasdaq to you on your mobile phone with much more opportunity and liquidity. And I believe that one day we will be there.
Sounds awesome. Like double down on this, and also want to continue this idea of that we are only touching the surface that Brandon said, because basically it is. We are still super early. Like just if like you ask me personally, like what was wrong before with the area, in my opinion. In my opinion, it was about the narrative that we are going to change the meta. So nobody will invest the old way, and now everybody will invest the new way. I think area is something that we need to approach it by combining, so people will have the opportunity to invest via the old ways, I don't know, like sign some papers and stuff like that, and the other part of the planet person can invest in the same company by, like, I don't know, like signing something in the blockchain. And that's big, because we haven't met this, because all successful project, in my opinion, they're kind of okay with raising by the old methods. And right now, me personally, I see a lot of the companies that are looking great, and I'm personally like interested in them, but there is a big gate. I just can't invest them. And the area tokenization like should change the meta. We are still early, we are still there, but still, this is the biggest narrative that are in the crypto right now, for sure. It's
Yes,
just simple logic. Yeah.
Yes, I complete with all of you greatly. I completely agree with you greatly um, on the view and the topic. To be honest, I know, and we have realized this at Rio from the get go that we're still very early. However, my point of view here was that, and that's why we actually initiated the creation of Rio, is that the space was kind of experimenting with RWAs and what you can do with them, how to bring them on chain, etc. However, up until now, there wasn't a standardized, let's say, purposely built infrastructure for such kind of large scale onboarding of such kind of assets. And you know, for example, Ethereum network, it was designed. Back like 7 8 years ago, and even further actually, sorry for that. But the thing is, it wasn't purposely designed to create this trustless kind of environment which, which needs to be created for people to actively trade, let's say, RWAs and feel secure when they come to the space. And that's how we have tackled and we have approached the creation of Rio to create such kind of a space where people can actually feel secure and safe that everything which is on this network is actually evaluated, is has gone through due diligence processes, is um, insured as well, etc. So having trusted partners such as yourselves, as I mentioned previously, is very important for us. But also I think that it gives this trust, let's say, into the network for both retail and professional investors, that those assets which are brought in such a manner on chain are actual, they have been evaluated, and they can be held basically without the issues of whether they'll default, whether there is something behind them. And also the banks which we have been approaching and other financial institutions which we're about to announce in the next couple of months, they all agree on the fact that you need to have a standardized approach in order to get large scale adoption. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, I fully agree with you, and I respect your efforts towards providing those solutions to the banks, because I fully understand that typically banks are very limited by their opportunities that they covering, and I fully understand how challenging is it to convince some banks to move forward. And as so far, I see three three main obstacles in the RWA industry that will help us to grow. So, based on my experience, the first is their data rich approach. So, it means when you embed into their smart contract itself the different parameters from their Web2 world, like the title of the real estate or certain obligations. So, when the investor will open your security token smart contract, he will see all of their data inputs from the day one, because now in the industry you can set up your STO security token offering, uh, collect money, but never invest in those assets, right? It's not connected directly. That's why this data rich approach will help the industry move forward and bring more transparency. Also, I see the challenges in their risk analytics and scoring. That's why in Stobox we're now partnering with several tier one companies in this industry to provide more recognition for their investors. Um, because when we see it from their B2C standpoint, from their public investor, for you it's very challenging to analyze all of that companies, private companies with certain private things, and decide if you would like to invest there. That's why this proper risk analytics, risk scoring is necessary for this decision for their investor. And the third point that I have in my mind, it is the liquidity. That's why we have a lot of the protocols, a lot of blockchains, a lot of infrastructure, and what industry is lacking, it is interoperability, where you have the assets, for example, that Stobox issued, that can be deployed on the real finance, on the Ethereum, on the DJ shares, on the InvestX, on some DEX secondary markets, right? This interoperability through different protocols and through different chains. But we are on the way, on the way there. So I think it will be resolved. It's just the matter of time, because we have a perfect momentum, we have the technology readiness in respect of the capabilities, and of course the regulation in place.
Yeah, and Rio is
Mhm.
coming to the mainnet in the next 10 months. So, all of these solutions are actually embedded already into our basically network and infrastructure. So, things are going to be changing rapidly and, for the better. So, thanks for your input on that. And, furthermore, Brandon, would you like to discuss a bit more of our
Y-
immediate liquidity plans and how we're going to be boosting liquidity onto the real chain through the banks?
and yeah, in terms of so right now we're only partnered with Viner Private Bank, and they committed to tokenizing multi eight figures worth of assets onto of their portfolio onto our chain right as we hit MVP, which should occur in the first quarter of next year. So they're also going to act as a custodian for the assets as well. This is really going to help solve some of the liquidity issues that are faced by a lot of our platforms. And it's kind of important for these settlement windows to be a reasonable time frame. And that was a big hurdle that we've noticed in the space, and something that we're really working towards solving with these banking partners. So yeah, Vina Private Bank is publicly announced. We also do have some other banks in the pipe in the MENA region as well as Latin America. So it's really good to see, even before we launch, that the banks are hungry for this type of transformation, right? Like you mentioned, Ross, there's these hurdles that these financial institutions are trying to overcome, but we firsthand have seen already that banks and investment firms are really kind of trying to shift from siloed ledgers to shared, verifiable, programmable asset rails, right? And that's really what the two as a partner are trying to provide to these institutions. And there's so many more benefits for these institutions as well, right? Like you said, the data side of things, like the reporting, they can become automated. That really reduces cost as well as increases the trust level through the transparency that the blockchain provides. Something that we talk about internally all the time here at Real is how much this is one of the best use cases of blockchain technology, period, from a wide scale adoption standpoint. Like if we were to think about cryptographic and blockchain technology and what the use case potentially could be for it, it's taking the systems that have worked in the past. We all know that the banking system is powerful and functional, but there's a lot of these bureaucratic hurdles, um, you know, challenges with getting access to certain financial instruments, and various other challenges that come along with working with these outdated institutions.
And
The use case
regional
of block
restrictions. Yeah.
Yeah, and regional restrictions. So, the use case of blockchain technology providing that sort of democratizing access to these financial opportunities, but still doing it in a compliant and regulated manner through companies like ours is again, yeah, how we see that transformation occurring. Anything else that you wanted to touch on there, Ivo, as far as the liquidity side of things goes?
Yeah, no, of course. I guess we can, for the purpose of engaging further the community, we can drop some alpha here. And, overall, we do have already immediate plans. Ross by the way, just dropped. I guess there might be some technical issues there, but overall, Ross touched upon that stable coins. Yes, they're a huge use case, and we are at Rio. At Rio, we're gonna be introducing our own stable coin once the mainnet is launched, and the beautiful aspect here is that it's not gonna be backed only by Rio as a company by itself, but also by their partners of Rio. Um, i- and when I say partners, I mean like certain financial institutions as well. So
Sorry,
yeah,
quick one.
here's some alpha guys.
Can you just add Ross back again because he's still on the backstage? I guess you need uh, to add him rights
Yeah, just
to
give us
be
one
on stage.
second here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure someone. I'm sure we're gonna add him v- quickly. So, yeah. By the time we're waiting, Ilya, would you like to share a bit more onto your plans for next year and overall, again, speaking about cross chain and introducing different assets onto the Rio network, have you guys already selected some of them, or you know,
That's
let's
about.
drop some alpha here?
I'm not sure. I think Ross, have to give the green light for it. But if you're talking about the overall the promos, like I want to touch one point that I think people started to think about it, like finally in crypto, that before it was like constant competing, like project were constantly competing with each other, even though they were building the same space, and it was not about the building the blockchain, pushing the ideas of the blockchain. It was something that, okay, this is hype, sounds hyped, and we just need to create another project, compete with other people. The market is in a pretty bad conditions right now. Yeah, we are not. I don't think we are bullish. We are bearish. I am not sure about it. Like, what is this stage? But the prominent thing that I see on the market right now that is project finally understand that there's a less liquidity on the market right now. There's less people on the market right now. So we need to buckle up. We need to group up and build something together. Something that will actually like give some benefits to people, not just create this fake feeling of the benefit that was like, I don't know, like concealed by some technology, drain them and go away. And that's awesome. That's awesome. That's why we started like doing this session like with our partners, with you guys. Super enjoying the time here, and I hope that actually we'll have two more in this week. So it's not the first time that I will talk to you during this week. But anyway, so we need to be careful with alpha we sharing because we have a lot of times this week to share it. And Ross is finally here, so yeah, pass it on.
Absolutely, Leah. What I believe that it is no competition; it is their collaboration, because industry it is huge, right? And it is just the matter how we different blockchains, different protocols, different tokenization providers will sort it out and make their interoperability happen. And answering the question about the asset, look, mainly their assets that are tokenizing by Stobox, like 50% it is the real estate, other 20% it is the energy sector, for example, solar energy, wind energy, and so on. 20% it is mines and extraction, for example, some diamonds or gold, and other 10% it is any private company, any other private companies or financial industry. And we released the Stobox 4 platform just 1 month ago, and before it was Stobox 3, Stobox 2, Stobox 1, and so on during these 7 years. And we already tokenized first 5 clients on our platform just in several weeks. So it is their aircraft, air private jets from the Dubai. It is a Swiss-based bank in Switzerland. It is their real estate in Canada. It is their Canada-based stablecoin that plans the listing on Nasdaq exchange. So those assets we plan to bring on the real finance. And what I see now that we're experiencing more requests from the institutional grade companies, and one of their requests is about the stable coins because of the clarity on the US market and European market through the Genius Act and through the MiCA. More and more companies would like to use their stable coins for their internal operations between different third parties. That's why I see this trend, and I think it is just the beginning. So I trust that we can bring a lot of companies to the real finance once it will
I'm more
mainnet
than
live.
sure of it. As Ilya mentioned, we do have another two coming up, such kind of sessions in the next 2 days, and I do want to share all of the alphas here from the get go. We're gonna be sharing more in the next 2 days, so I encourage people who are currently listening to also join the other two sessions as well. In any case, we're bringing to you guys a couple of big real estate projects as well for tokenization. I mean, we're going to be doing some kind intros towards you guys as well. And, overall, Real's purpose is to and aim is to have 500 million on chain by the end of next year. However, to a certain extent, with everything we have spoken about with you and with the other, counterparties of ours, we're most probably gonna be exceeding these numbers. But yeah, let's keep some mystic for the next 2 days as well. And it was a pleasure speaking with you guys. Um, Not sure whether we have access to a lot of the questions, which I'm sure some people might have posted on socials, but perhaps we can wrap it up here and continue within our social channels. So, just closing remarks for this session, I guess, and we continue in the next two sessions as well.
Sounds great. Sounds awesome. And yeah, guys, I just wanted to highlight that tomorrow will be a good evening, I guess. Great conversation. We bring in our partners to like the real finance will be our guests on our Twitter space. Also, we inviting the Landshare, the Chain GPT, and it will be actually it will be about the collaboration that we told. And in crypto, we are not only fully connected to the narrative that we are pushing. Most of the time, you are have to be interconnected, I guess. And that's why we are bringing the Chain GPT with us, because we in the Stobox have implemented successfully the AI agent, and we want to talk more about it tomorrow. I hope you in Real Finance somehow implement the AI, and it's something that me
Yeah,
tomorrow as a
we
host.
already do have.
Mhm.
Yeah, we already do have some ideas on that. On that aspect. This is just to touch upon interoperability, as you guys said. And there's literally, at least in my point of view, the space is still very young. So collaborations are basically very much needed. You cannot cover everything yourself. And when it comes to especially financial instruments in the financial sector, even huge banks like JP Morgan is, partnering with Chase for different, let's say, aspects of the business, etc. There's syndicated loans, etc., etc. So, we love collaborations, we love partnerships, and thanks for the opportunity for tomorrow, guys.
Awesome, awesome, and thanks that you
Yeah,
will
thank you
join
a
us.
lot for thank you for inviting us, and I think that it is just the beginning. I'm sure that we have plenty of different opportunities, and the market is huge. Narratives is here, the regulation is here. That's why we need to work.
Yeah,
Brandon,
absolutely.
any last?
Thrilled. Yeah, I was just about to say, just thrilled to be working together with you guys on maturing the RWA ecosystem, you know, with predict and institutional grade rails, other than the experimental and instability of some of the Web3 folks might be used to. Right, this is I view this as a real transition in the way that people and companies manage their information and money. It's just the next logical step.
Amazing. Once again, thank you for joining us and for this great conversation. And we continue in the next 2 days as well. And I'm sure we're gonna have, further down the road, once again, such kind of sessions. And especially when we start introducing the different assets, it's gonna be exciting times.
Thank you,
Yeah,
gents.
have a good one.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
All the
Ciao.
best. Bye.
All the best.